Hey everybody, and welcome back to Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz, Jack and Later, still Lake Jackson. I'm going to start working on some Christmas stuff. Now, this one comes from a friend of mine. Her name rhymes with Tatum. And she gave me this idea, but she told me that it was called Better Than Sex, or a bowl of sex, or just chocolate delight, which says a lot about her and her family, I guess, but not so much about the recipe. I hope I can say this on YouTube instead of getting monetized. So, that's the thing. We're going to try this. I hope it works out okay. Be sure to do all the YouTube stuff before we start. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. There's a little bell down in that corner, get notifications. We do these as close to Tuesday, Friday as we can. Also, there's a link down the doobly-doo. I'm wearing the apron this time. It's got our apron, our oven mitts and fake hands and spatulas and flippers and all kind of stuff. We very much appreciate it. We're a small business. And let's just get into the food. It's supposed to be better than sex. Alright, it's got a couple of different stuff here, but you're going to want a block of this 8-ounce cream cheese. You want to get it at room temperature best you can, okay? You're going to want a cup of chopped pecans. These aren't chopped near as much as I thought. You're going to want half a cup of butter. Again, room temperature. I'm going to melt that. I'm going to cheat a little bit. You're going to want some flour, a cup of that, and then yeah, you know what flour looks like. And then a cup of your powdered sugar. We're going to need some whipped topping, but I'm going to show you this powdered sugar because I accidentally tried to fry some catfish in it once, and that just, not good. So, I got some whipped topping here. You're going to need the big one. This is the 16 ounce. I got it from like Walmart or something. A couple of packets of your chocolate pudding. I'd love to try this without the chocolate stuff sometime, but this is chocolate delight. This is what we're supposed to do. You're going to want just a pinch of salt, a pinchy pinch, and you're going to want some milk. Somehow I grabbed the reduced fat instead of the whole stuff, but use whatever milk you feel comfortable with. And you want a pan. They say 13 by 9, but I'm going to use a little bit shorter one. So first things first, we need to make our crust here. So you're going to get the 1 cup of flour, put that in there, and then you want your butter, and then your pecans, but both of these we need to process a little bit. So the butter is not, even at room temperature, it's not melty, right? It's going to take forever, and your chopped pecans are not quite as chopped. So we're going to mash those up. I'll show you how to do it real quick. So butter, I'm going to put it in like a microwave safe bowl. Microsoft safe bowl. Microwave safe bowl. I'm going to cut it up because the smaller the pieces, the easier it is. You put it in for 15 seconds at a time. This took me about 50 seconds. It's melted down pretty good. So you're going to want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 325. This is the longest and most difficult part of this. The rest of this is just kind of mixing and layering. So while we're waiting for that to preheat, get your chopped pecans, put them in your good old mortar and pestle. I like my wooden one here. I used to have a stone one. I think the hurricane ate it, but so yeah, just take it, mash it. Remember, you get that little twist in there. It gives it a little stir so you're not just mashing the same ones at the top. But get them nice and broken up. This is a lot better than just having the giant chunks of pecan. Whatever, so you're going to go ahead and add those pecans directly to your flour and then that melted butter that we got in there, right? I'm going to scrape a little bit, just mostly because I don't want to leave any butter or particulates in my bowl here. Use our good old-fashioned living between paychecks spatula, but just give it a nice scrape. Usually I'm just leaving that in there to annoy Jack, because just sound bothers him. But yeah, let's get into it. This is our living between paychecks spatula that we sell. And then you want just a pinch. Now, I never knew what a pinch was. I always just pinched it. But it's 1/6 of a teaspoon. Thanks and shout out to Kim, who sent me this. This is my friend Bridget, who sent me this. Just go ahead and throw that in there, the rest of it. And then you want to mix this up as best you can. At first I was worried that it was going to not mix well and be super powdery, but it turns into a dough really fast, thanks to the flour, I guess. But just give that a nice stir. Be sure to pull up all the flour that's stuck to the bottom and keep stirring that in there. You can have a little bit of flour still showing. It's not that big a deal. This is going to be for your crust. Now, it asks for a 13 by 9. This is ginormous, and with the amount of quote-unquote crust I just got, I think it would be hard-pressed to stretch that far. So I'm going to use this smaller one. I guess this is a 7 by 9. I don't know what the hell pot measurements are. It's rectangular is all I'm using, and it's smaller than a 13 by 9. It's going to be a problem later, but with a crust it works out perfect. Get you a spatula or something nice and flat. A spoon will work if you have one of those, and mash it flat. Once you get it nice and mashed flat in there and your oven's preheated, go ahead and put it in there. You're going to put it in there for, at 325 for 25 minutes. I hope y'all can see that. Like, it's not actual sign language. It's just how we communicate growing up on the farm. So now that you got that in there, we're going to go ahead and make up our JelloO. So each one of these calls for 2 cups of milk. So I'm going to go ahead and mix these in here. Now, I did screw up and not turn on the camera for one of these. So I got both my mixes in there, and I'm just going to add 4 cups. So I'm only going to show you 3. So I apologize for that, but yeah, camera didn't turn on when I hit it. So I'm just going to do these last two directly on film. Let's go ahead and get in here. You can mix it with a spoon. It takes a while, or you can get your cheater beater in there and just mix that up. While I love doing that, it makes a freaking mess, especially if it's not completely covered. So I'm going to try to do this, but man, I get frustrated with this just so quick. So I get that cheater beater, put it in there. This is the smoothest I've ever had pudding that I've made, because usually I'm using a spoon or a spatula. So yeah, this mixes it up so much better than anything. I use it to scrape the extra stuff off of my spatula here, so I don't lose any in that. And then I try to use it on the side of the bowl and mix it a little bit, and all I did was just throw chocolate pudding all over the place. Now, they give you full transparency here. Oh, see what I mean? Like, that's what I was trying to clean off the edges, wasn't paying attention, and just got chocolate pudding all over my kitchen. So be careful doing that. Okay, when I was putting this in the fridge now, once it's mixed, you want to put it in the fridge. When I was putting mine in there, I dropped it and spilled about half a cup of chocolate. So I'm not working with the full thing, so yours might have a little more. All right, now your 25 minutes is up. You got this out. You want it to cool completely. I let it chill for about 10 minutes, but it was still super duper warm on the bottom, so I went ahead and put it in the fridge. So be careful with that if you're not working with like Pyrex or something, because it can shatter when you do that. So be very, very careful. Just want it to cool off. Now you're going to get your cream cheese. Now again, I'm cutting it up because it makes it easier, and I get to use my knife and give a shout out to my buddy Andy, who gave me my knives and does our sharpening stuff, and then put that 1 cup of powdered sugar directly on top of that. Now you're going to get you a spatula, a spoon, or if you have a mixer, apparently you can do it, but this always tends to stick in the little blades, and it takes forever, and then you got to sit and dig it out or whatever. So I'm just going to use a spatula. It's going to take a little time, and I stirred it up, but it got really smooth. Check that out. So once you get that done, then don't even worry about cleaning your spoon. You can if you want to, but it's just going to get dirty again. Get your half your whipped topping. You want to put about half of it, okay? You got 16 ounces here, so about 8 if you can. If it's a little too much, you can always back some out. It's okay. We're going to use the other half for the top. So put this in here, and then we're going to mix that up. So I think I grabbed a little too much, so I might pull a little off the top later. But that's just cooking. It blends really well. Again, this is one of the ones they say you can use a mixer on, but I'd be worried that A, I'd be slinging this stuff all over my kitchen, and B, that it would take too long to clean. So just go ahead and give it a stir. They keep saying to fold it in, so that just means to pull the stuff from the bottom and put it on the top over and over. So, yeah, it gets a lot thicker, so we're going to set that aside. Let's get all the rest of the stuff. So this has been chilling in the fridge for about 10 minutes. It's cooled off very much to the touch, and then our pudding is well set. So first we're going to start with our cream cheese and whipped topping mixture here, and you're going to coat it on the bottom. Now, I filmed all of this, but it took forever. This went from an 11-minute video to like 20-something when I was showing all the layering stuff. But just remember to push this to the side. Don't try to pull it or scrape it, because if you do, you're going to pull up the stuff from the bottom. So once you get that nice and done, clean off your spoon, and then you're going to layer your chocolate pudding directly on top. Sorry I'm blocking the camera here. I was really scared that I was going to drop this again. Again, this spill even more. Got it on my feet, and it's just so gross. But again, this is one of those foods that looks kind of horrific if you see it while you're making it. But yeah, just go ahead and take that, and again, just push it all the way to the edges, make it as flat as possible to you. Now, my brains wanted me to keep going, and I just had to force myself to stop. And then once you get that, you layer the last of your whipped topping that was left, the other half, and put it right on top. And again, push it to the edges, because if you pull it or try to scrape it, it's going to pull up the stuff from underneath, and then you're going to have chocolate in your white layers, and then it touches, and it's this whole big weird thing. So once you get that nice and floured, get your last of your chopped pecan there. Floured? Did I say floured? Like, leveled is what I meant. I don't know why I said floured. But just go ahead and sprinkle these on top. It's okay if there's little bigger pieces in this one. I didn't smash them near as much, mostly because I just didn't want to sprinkle it with dust. I wanted to actually, you can see where there were actually pecans in there too. So I put it in my hand to have a little more control over it when you put it in there. But yeah, that's it. I would love to do this and try it with pecans, maybe some other pudding flavors. I'd love to do like a cherry or strawberry flavored one. Oh, and be sure to let your favorite children lick the bowls. There's more than one bowl, so if you have more than one kid, you don't have to just favor the one. But yeah, this is it. This is super neat. It is basically a big ass lateral parfait when it's chocolate pudding in it or whatever. Like I said, I'd love to try this differently. I'm pretty sure it's going to hold up, but it has milk in it, right? In both the pudding and in the whipped cream, because of the cream part. So you're going to need this, keep this refrigerated. I'm going to put a lid on this, take it to some friends and let them eat it. It doesn't scoop out well. At least the first scoop looks weird. But this will hold up. It's a lot of sugar. It's very, very sweet. If you weren't diabetic before, you might be after eating this. Like, this is a lot of sugar. Like, I could barely eat any of it after licking all the spoons and bowls and stuff because I'm my own favorite child. And then I couldn't give the chocolate to Zool. So, yeah, you got to try this one out. Let me know what you think. Is it better than sex? Is it just sex in a bowl? I guess. But, yeah, give this one a try. Let me know what you think. And, yeah, here's the guy to do the outro. So that turned out really well. I have no idea how I'm going to get out of the thing. I'm going to try to get a picture of this, serving it, but I don't want to just make a wreck. So if you do it differently, you want to see us do it differently, let me know. Put it down in the comments. That's what they're there for. You can also find me on social media, Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're all those at Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram at Live Between. I had to shorten it down over there. You can find me, Oswary Nerdy, on all those, including Twitter and TikTok, where I'm usually just talking action figure and nerd stuff. But yeah, so... better than sex, you're having sex wrong. You're weird and you should know that. Sorry, bit of a Daniel O'Brien ad-lib there. But yeah, yeah, you got to try this one and let me know. I'm very curious if your sex is better than this thing. I mean, it's good, but...